Finally, I have all the library movies done. Hallelujah. Now I can get on to the next. Now I can get on to the massive box set that I have featuring the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock himself, with yet another movie, Shadow of a Doubt, 1943. Now in this one, this is a more of a small scale movie. This is not like the grandiose adventure that Saboteur was, Saboteur, whatever. But instead, this one it's more of a personal story. This thriller about a young woman, Teresa Wright, who comes to suspect that her uncle, Joseph Cotton, she idolizes, may in fact be a murderer who was considered Alfred Hitchcock's personal favorite. So yeah, this is an uncle is coming to Santa Rosa, California, and it's like he's just there because he just wants to kind of just be around some family, but there's something more devious going on. What is his actual reason? Why is this man here? What is his motive? Because it's something different. A little trivia. Hitchcock said this was his favorite film that he directed. The characters, Ann Newton and Catherine, were played by Edna Mae Wanacott and Estelle Jewell, both residents of Santa Rosa, where the film was shot. In fact, several of the town's locals worked as extras in the film. Since the film was shot so far away from Hollywood, the production was not affected by the Actors Guild guidelines demanding use of professional actors. The title Shadow of a Doubt was actually a temporary title, but a different title was never chosen. The Merry Widow Waltz is the title of the waltz that was referred to throughout the movie. So, and of course, I gotta show where the cameos. He's seen in the train of Santa Rosa playing cards. He holds a suit of spades, including the symbolic ace of spades, which is meant to mean like death or something like that. I'm trying to remember. And this movie, I liked more. I enjoyed Saboteur, but this one has more of a personal tinge, and with it being more a personal tinge, you need better performances. And oh boy, do we get some good stuff here. I was impressed with how much Teresa Wright was able to convince, how she, one, loves her uncle a lot, but then two, she starts to get some suspicions going on, so she runs across a busy town trying to get to a library. Three, the weight of, should she work with her Uncle Charlie, or turn her into the cops, the investigators, whatever. That's what's going on, and it's like, it just makes you think, that's the weight and conflict that I want to see in a character who is feeling truly perplexed about what to do. Still, and she really does arguably make this movie so fantastic. Joseph Cotton as the uncle is so good, is so great as well. I mean, it's like he wants to be a normal uncle, but then at the same time, when he's known as the the Merry Widow Biller, there's a little certain unease / edge going on about him, and it's just like, you look at him, you could tell something is slightly askew, even though he seems to be an everyday person, and it's like you're just waiting for something to happen, but there's still that air of doubt. But we, the audience, are, as Alfred Hitchcock says, always make the audience suffer as much as possible, especially when there are some investigators that are coming through the house. They're there under the pretense of just finding what an average American family is. They've got their reasons, so everything works out perfectly. And most of this just takes place in an everyday house, an everyday family. But what happens when we get someone who's done some awful crimes and comes and could potentially ravage a small town? That never happens. Let's question that with one of the greatest directors of all time, who took some influence from a serial person named Earl Nelson, who was famous for doing some crimes in the 1920s, if I'm not mistaken, 1920s, 30s. And it was set in then, and this movie is set in then present day 1943, where this one smart aleck kid says, yeah, wow, this was in 1988. 1888, this was 53 years ago. What also I noticed makes this work out is this family is kind of a bunch of smartasses, but in the best way possible. Where the youngest one says, it takes 642 steps to get to the drugstore and back, and 842 if you ride the bus or something like that. And then we got the middle-aged child who is always reading and stuff like that, and able to answer every question correctly because she's, quote, reads 2 books a week. And, it's the dynamic personalities that I love and everything. And I mean, it's so great. Yeah. But we get some interesting interesting camera shots, like in the beginning, where the uncle is escaping their 2 investigators. We get a very far away shot of the confusion, suspense of what could possibly be going on. And I'm like, oh, this is so great. Liking this. I mean, even the minor characters, like a traffic cop, has enough of an influence in here. Because where Charlotte is running, trying to get the newspaper of the day at the library to see, because earlier the uncle was doing like, hey, I can show you how I can make a house out of a newspaper page. And you can already tell there's some small stuff that's going on, but it's what builds up and on until we get to, for a then shocking climax of where the uncle is trying to bill his niece, excuse me, and it's done in ways that feel threatening, but at the same time they seem like accidents. So it's a movie of just trying to silence someone and discoveries and things like that. And everything is balanced so well for, what is that, roughly an hour and 47 minutes, not 107 minutes. So, it may feel like there's not too much going on, like for a little bit, for back then that would have been very shocking. But I guess kind of modern sensibilities, one could get bored just from not too much happening. So I don't know. That's like really the only bad thing that I can think of. Little trivia: Hitchcock wanted his team to find a house that still looked new but had a little bit of wear and tear to it, to like describe what this as how to show the family standing as a middle class family. So they looked all around. Finally, they found a house, and when the owners were so excited, they actually painted the house and made it look opulent and new. So they kind of had to actually like de-age the house to make it look like, it's had a little bit of wear and tear to show off the middle class status. So I don't know, it's just so interesting. It's on the IMDb trivia page, and it's still standing as of 2024. So just the lengths that Hitchcock would go to, all the camera angles, because there are some decently long takes, 2-3 minutes worth of just showing some suspense and uncertainty as of what's going on, So yeah, this is definitely one that I've enjoyed a lot. And yeah, like I said, the family, kids are smartasses, but they're likable smartasses, and no, that's not an oxymoron. The mother seems to be like the oblivious to everything going on, so it was funny to see her fussing about making a cake when being interviewed about what it means to be an average American family, again with that subterfuge or pretense. So ultimately, this movie still really holds out very well. I'm not going to say too much about why the uncle likes to bill people, but money has something to do with it. So let's just say that. So do I recommend that people watch Shadow of a Doubt? Oh, heck yes.